Welcome back to AM Northwest. It's a global movement designed to help you disconnect, reset, and become more present. Here to share ways to participate in the global day of unplugging, we welcome back the author of Device: Balancing Life and Technology in a Digital World, psychologist Dr. Doreen Dodgen-Magee. Wait a second, Doreen, I have to check something here real quick. Okay, now tell me about this day. When is this?
You like that little thing in your
Oh
hand?
my, you know, I have a problem, like a serious problem. I might need a 12-step program.
Well,
honestly.
they probably exist.
They probably do. They probably do. So tell me about this day.
This day is a day that I have really enjoyed and loved for a long time, and I've wanted to bring this sort of movement to Portland, and I'm doing it this year. It's a day from sundown tonight, sundown March 7th, to sundown March 8th, where everyone is encouraged to take at least an hour or two to put their phones down or shut them all the way off, and to try to engage life in a different way than what we know right now. To take time to kind of check in with ourselves, to take time to check in with each other, and the thing that I'm trying to emphasize this year is to take time to try some new embodied things that might be so fiery and so interesting and so fun that we sometimes put our phones down and don't even realize we've done that.
Oh, well, I would realize very quickly that I didn't have my phone. Okay, you mentioned though, even just for an hour, because a full day sounds like a lot.
It is.
To me.
Yeah.
So an hour, you're saying, even.
Personally, in my everyday work, I suggest even 10 minutes a day.
Okay.
That even just practicing 10 minutes a day or 10 minutes every half day, you know, twice a day, can develop some skills, because what we do, we're so attached to these things, and they have a direct connection to dopamine receptors and to all kinds of things.
Yeah.
So it's not like we can just go all in or all out. But if we can practice and start onboarding some activities that help us manage our anxiety and our discomfort without our phones, sort of like this weekend for the Global Day of Unplugging, one of the things I'm doing is encouraging people to play awkward moment bingo.
What is that about?
Part of what we do when we're out and about in the world, we're so used to being able to look at our phones that when an awkward moment happens, we just escape it with our phone, rather than trying to keep looking up and around and figuring out, oh, everybody else feels a little awkward.
Right.
We can manage this. So we keep ourselves from building the skills we would need to be able to be emotionally regulated without our phones. And this is a beautiful opportunity to try it.
Well, I think we've all seen, when we're driving along, seen people on the sidewalk crossing the street looking into their phone and not looking up. But also, we miss moments of really great things. I do remember a time I was at a parade and I was busy on my phone, and I had to tell myself, okay, put your phone down and just look up. And I swear to you, 2 minutes later, an old friend walked by.
Right.
It was so, like, I would have not seen her.
And so much of our lives now are dependent on these little devices that we carry around. And even planning these events this weekend, it was wild to think about, how will people pay for snacks at the little snack bar?
Yes,
how will people,
that's a very good point.
Right? How will people take pictures? So I'm trying to do things like accommodate that. And I think on this global day, people try to do things like carry a camera around, or just try to encourage people to stop when they don't have their phone and really relish the moment. Take it all in. Look for those friends who might be around, or the new friend you might meet.
You mentioned explore embodied activities.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
So what I mean by that is we have so offloaded all of our information gathering, our fun having, our hobbies, our talents, everything is now in online spaces and with screens. And so if we can develop some actual kind of hard skills, things that are so fun for our body, again, that we forget that we've put our phone down. So for instance, this weekend, I'm emphasizing things like skill toys, kendamas, diabolos, hula hoops.
I missed 2 of those. What were
diabolos are you have sticks and a string, and there's a little
fun.
Yeah, those.
Okay.
I've got these little packets that people can make their own zine. I've got snail mail. I'm encouraging people to just write a card to someone.
Yeah.
These experiences that historically we've found really meaningful and helpful in terms of engaging connection with ourselves and our friends and communities, that we've just sort of let go. So it's a time to try to kind of recapture some of that. Play with Legos, play with brain flakes, another little toy. Get out picture books and just look at pictures, or do what the Dutch do, which is niksen, spelled Niksen, and it means to do nothing deliciously. Just staring into space and feeling kind of competent at just being in and of ourselves without our phones.
Your book talks often too about, talks many times about the impact on kids.
It's profound.
our cell phones on kids. But as adults, we're the ones that are giving everyone, we're the ones setting the example.
That's exactly right. If you look at even toys now, early childhood toys have chips in them and screens.
Right.
And so we are habituating our children early on, just behaviorally, but also it impacts their brain development, and they're almost more comfortable in the screen-based spaces. And that's why it's so important to give opportunities to build those embodied skills, those just interpersonal and intrapersonal skills that we can only develop when we don't have a phone.
You mentioned the dopamine that we get from zipping through our phones, but we can get that from doing something physical after we put down our phones.
Absolutely. However, when we start trying at the start, it's actually anxiety producing. So if we don't develop any skills for self-soothing and managing that anxiety, then we just very quickly, like a 12-step, grab our phone again. So this is all about creating short capacities for being without our phones so that we can eventually have longer times.
There you go. You've got 2 events coming up.
I do,
right?
I do.
So one is at Powell's, we know. We're going to tell folks if you'd like to find out more about all the events that she's at. Also the book again, Device. Doreen Dodgen-Magee, thank you so much.
Helen, thank you.
Sorry, I got to get to my phone.
Yeah, sure you
I
do.
just texted me. We'll be right back with more AM Northwest. Oh, wait, yeah.